Michele with the MH Collective.
And I'm Debra with the MH Collective.
And we're looking forward to having this little informal chat about what's happening in real estate and what's not, and also what's new in the mortgage business.
You know, we had a great meeting yesterday with a mortgage broker, and I actually learned quite a few things. There's an awful lot of uncelebrated things that are good, actually. There was a lot of talk that they were going to change the stress test, make it even harder, and they haven't, which is wonderful. So it's still 2% higher that you have to qualify for with the interest rates, and that is going to stay that way. And also, the interest rates have actually come down. It's pretty much a percentage point, little by little. So we're getting there.
I think it was, it started out at about 5.89 and we're down to, I think, about 5.24
That's right.
now.
Yeah.
So that's encouraging.
That's
and,
very encouraging.
They're also thinking that the interest rate by the second quarter, so that's probably the summer or August, is going to be coming down again. On the 24th, I guess everybody, as the Bank of Canada is going to be releasing some information. And I think that judging by all the newspaper articles we've been reading, this, that, and another thing, I think that they'll be holding the rate for this next little bit. And speaking of the Bank of Canada, also there's been some rumors or some dialogue about the inflation rate. And currently, the inflation rate is 3% across Canada. And of course, the Bank of Canada wants that to be down to 2%. But if they were to take out the mortgage debt out of the inflation rate, which is about 29%, I think is what the mortgage rate is, we would be down into the 2% numbers. So that's kind of an interesting thing. And globally, what we're finding is that with the uncertainty in all the countries across the world, supply chains, wars, this, that, and another thing, that people are being very conservative when it comes to mortgaging. And also, just as we all know, is that the mortgage rate does follow the bond rate as well. So as the bond rate goes down, then the interest rate will always go down. So that being said,
well, there are new options coming about for mortgaging. There's a lot of talk about being able to use the income from unauthorized suites. Now, some banks have already done that to a certain degree, but now they're talking about maybe being able to use 100% even though it's unauthorized. And as long as the suite has its own entrance and a kitchen, not a hot plate, but a true kitchen. So there's going to be a lot of discussion about that soon, and we'll follow up with that when we find out exactly what's going to happen. Because that would be a very big deal for people qualifying if you could actually use the income from the unauthorized suites. I actually think there's probably more unauthorized suites than there are authorized, to say the very least. But
what advice would you have for people who are thinking of changing mortgage companies? Is there any new rules in regards to that?
There are, actually. One nice thing now is if you do decide to change mortgage companies, you don't have to refinance or requalify, to finance. So that's a big deal that you can,
huge one.
Very much so. So you can just, after your 5-year term, if you're with one bank, you can just pop over to another and take advantage of what they have to offer with really no penalty anymore.
Well, that's incredible news. And I guess it's still 2 years financials for those people who are self-employed that are thinking of getting a mortgage.
It is, yes. They've got to have their 2 years of taxes, at least some 3, and their NOAs, their notice of assessment, has got to be there as well. Yeah, 2 full years of financials.
And Deb, what are you saying to people if they're sort of afraid to sell or afraid to buy right now?
You know, a lot of people have said they want to wait until the interest rate falls. But in actual fact, once the interest rate drops, the prices are going to go up again. So the mortgage broker that we left with yesterday ran some numbers and said that you're really only renting a mortgage rate. That can go up, it can go down. You have absolutely no control over it. But what you do have control over is investing in real estate, because in the long term, your 5-year term, you've built up equity. Most likely the property has gone up. So today's not a bad time. Just if you find the house you like and it's the one you want, go for it now and don't wait for interest rates or anything else. Just get in there and get it.
Yeah, because lots of times it's all about your personal circumstances as to, if you're having a baby or getting a divorce or downsizing or upsizing. Those things always should be the qualifiers for getting into the real estate market, for sure.
For sure.
And as far as the
MLS?
Yeah.
The MLS system, it's interesting because we have had some changes there this year as well. We are really lucky because I think we're the only country that has a true MLS system where every single property can be marketed to other realtors and to the public on the MLS. When I was in the United States on a conference a few years ago, I was amazed at how many different places when you list a house that you have to put it on and you pay for that.
Of different MLS systems to put it on.
Absolutely. So if you're not on all of them, are you missing that potential buyer? It can get a little bit crazy because there's so many of them, but our MLS system is a true MLS system. And I think we're really lucky because our public can access the realtor.ca as well and see what's going on. Our matrix system is the one for realtors that's password protected. And of course, that's because there's private information in there, like alarm codes and all sorts of things.
A consumer can look all across Canada. I know that when I was in Germany, just interested in real estate prices, as realtors always are, seeing what's going on in another country, how much they are, what you get for your money. I soon realized how difficult it would be to buy a property there because they don't have an MLS system as such. So you have to go from real estate company to real estate company.
Gosh.
So that's an awful lot of work. And so you have to really, it's not very user friendly. And another thing too that I found out was in England, you can have a fully accepted offer with the conditions removed and everything. And right up until moving day, you can get what they call gazumped, where somebody can come in and take over your offer or make a better offer right as your moving truck's coming down the street.
I've heard that. So. That would be outrageous. Can you imagine being packed and ready to move?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden somebody else buys the house out from under you? That would be a little bit outrageous.
The other thing too is I think that our MLS system is the envy of everywhere because you can have all sorts of data from all across Canada as to selling prices and whatnot.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
A lot of the benefits too of being on the MLS system, I think, is that one, you have exposure to more buyers, and the opportunity to have a multiple offer is more significant if you are on the MLS system.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely where our multiple offers come from. And they've made another new ruling this year with our MLS system that we put up coming soons to generate interest so that we try to get more than one person through the house on day one, which is our job to market the property. But they've now taken that down to a 3-day maximum prior to going to the market, which is probably a good thing, really, because a lot of them were weeks before and then they'd sell before they even got on the MLS, or people are phoning in for information and you don't have anything ready yet. So we can market it as a coming soon, 3 days prior, whether it be print or on the sign, but it is a 3-day minimum or maximum, excuse me.
Same with social media as well, is doing that for sure.
Yeah, it definitely generates people going through the door, whether it's 3 days before or not.
Yeah.
Definitely works, which is nice.
What we have found in the local market just recently too is that there seems to be, I think the tide is changing a little bit, where we have a lot more activity. Certainly the open houses seem to be well attended currently. And if something is priced right, then we do have, we can get multiple offers on them currently. So
it's amazing, actually, the open houses, because the week prior, and I know it was just the New Year, so that's always a bit of a quieter time. But last weekend, I think we did 4 or 5 open houses, And we had a second showing, possible offer on one of them. And then we also have a potential offer on another one that came through the open house. Didn't have a realtor, just came in. So they're not just looky-loos. I know in the heavily trafficked areas, we do get the neighbors and the looky-loos. But, we never discourage that, because that looky-loo or neighbor probably could have a friend that said, gosh, I'd love to live where you live.
Or and they're looking for a family member. Or,
exactly. Yeah. So all of a sudden, even though that person's not interested, they must enjoy living in the area. So they're going to sell it for you, which is wonderful. But we have had some really good qualified buyers come through our open houses in every price range, from a very low price range right up to 2 million. So that's nice to see.
It is great to see. So all in all, it's looking like 2024 is starting to shape up to be a pretty good year. Mm-hmm. We've got lots of changes. There's going to be a lot more changes coming down the pike, especially with the interest rates. Everybody is sort of waiting and holding to see what happens and how fast that interest rate hopefully will come down. If it does, then we also heard from our coach. MH Collective has a business coach that coaches realtors, high-producing realtors from all across Canada. And what he was saying to us today was that he thought that things have bottomed out in Ontario anyways, and that things are starting to turn around. So out west, a lot of times we are a little bit slower. So perhaps this is going to be our bigger spring than we had before. That
would be nice. The other thing that's interesting, too, that we forgot to mention was the foreign buyer tax was put in about 18 months ago, and it was supposed to be for 2 years. So the 2 years is up in 6 months, but we have heard nothing so far about whether that's going to stay in place or whether that's going to be removed. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm surprised we haven't heard anything, but it's only 6 months away. Hopefully it'll change.
Right. And also, I guess for right now, too, the speculation tax in certain areas has increased. So make sure that you check if you're looking for that. Mm-hmm. And also the municipal assessments are out currently. So check those out as well.
If you ever wanted to dispute your assessment, it has to be done by the end of January. And we have helped many people in the past with providing comparable sales to show that either your assessment is way too high or way too low. So if you need any help like that, feel free to contact us. We'd be happy to put something together for you.
And that's our little update today. And both Deb and I thank you. And if you have any questions, you know where to find us.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Bye for now.